You know, it's difficult to talk about nutrition and not bring up vitamins and minerals. Something you hear all the time. You rarely hear one without the other. And there's so much misinformation out there concerning vitamins and minerals. You know, what kind of supplements do I need, or do I need a supplement, or should I supplement? Should I get it from food? Can I get it from food? What vitamins do I need? A lot of information, a lot of misinformation out there. So I thought the best way to dive into this was, of course, bring our expert on, Tanya Green, our dietitian, to talk all about vitamins today on the Personal Age Fitness Podcast. Good day and welcome to the Personal Age Fitness Podcast. I'm your host, Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Age Fitness. Thank you for joining us today, talking about nutrition again. So, of course, we have our special guest, Tanya Green, with us to talk about that. Thank you so much for joining us today, Tanya.
Glad to be here.
Been getting some great responses from these, and this is a topic that we've had a lot of people ask us about. So, really looking forward to diving into it. Before we do so, I want to tell you how to get in touch with the show in case you have any questions dealing with this podcast or any others, or, as always, if you have any questions dealing with dispelling the myths of health, fitness, and wellness. And like I was telling Tanya earlier, this is definitely a subject that has a lot of myths associated with it.
Yes.
Please contact us at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can also reach out to me at Garrett, Garrett, at personalegefitness.com. That, of course, also is our website. Personal Age Fitness is our Facebook page. And hit me up on X or Twitter at Team PE. All right, diving into basically all about vitamins. But there's a little warning here that I think we definitely both want to start with, and that is the information that you get about vitamins.
Yes. So the first thing that we would ask is that you not get your nutrition information from a single TikTok video.
I agree.
Or a single Instagram post.
Right. True.
Or a single individual.
Right.
Really.
Definitely.
There is a tremendous amount of that out there right now. And just because one person eats something and doesn't feel well or decides something about it does not make it gospel.
Absolutely. And also, it's not so much, it's that, definitely, and getting it from multiple sources, as you were talking about. But who's telling you that information?
Right.
You know, that's the biggest challenge we have in the fitness field also.
Right.
Is just because somebody works out doesn't mean they really know about, physiology, about kinesiology, about anatomy.
Right.
And definitely nutrition is massive.
Right.
And so getting that information. But so if we've got that warning, which I think is extremely valuable, where should people look for this?
Okay, so the internet is definitely our friend, and and as long as we know the question to ask the search engine, right, then we can get extremely valuable information off the internet at our fingertips, which is a beautiful thing. Right. But so what I would recommend that you do is get multiple sources.
True.
Make sure it's a source that you recognize, like the Mayo Clinic, right, or even a government agency, something like that sure, you recognize. And then I would read multiple articles about a single thing that sure, you're trying to find out information on. And if they're all saying generally the same thing, you're probably on the right track.
Yeah, I agree. And also you mentioned Mayo Clinic. Some of the government, different entities that put out information, but would you say American Dietary Association? Would you say definitely?
Oh, goodness gracious, okay. Yes, absolutely.
Well, the only reason I say that is because when you say AMA to a physician, you're going to get all kinds of reactions depending on who you're talking to. Right. And but I always felt that the ADA was, and I'm driving that point home also because just because somebody's in the health field does not mean they know everything about health. I mean, the fact that my father was a gastroenterologist, I'm not really the person to come to you for your stomach problem.
That's right. That's right.
And it works the other way too.
Yes.
And all personal trainers don't know everything about nutrition. All physicians, they don't study nutrition, Mm-hmm. So checking those sources, mm-hmm, not only where you get what information you're getting, but checking the sources behind it. Right. Definitely. So, but I can't agree with you more. I mean, where do you think about it before this podcast, I mean, you did some searching on the internet.
Yes.
You know, and like you say, the internet is our friend as far as that goes. So.
Absolutely. But like I said, I would don't read one article and stop there.
Right.
I would really encourage you to read multiple articles. And like I said, if they are generally all going the same direction,
right,
then that is going to be probably a really good source of information for you.
I agree. I couldn't agree with you more. So, well, and in fact, I'm looking at right now the book that you brought back to me. That's a physician, but he has done immense study on drinking water.
Right.
And just one source, but most of his information is parroted, you know, from other sources. So.
Right. Right.
All right, moving forward, big topic, vitamins.
Yes.
And just like when I talk about a certain word or bring up a scientific word, I bring up like a definition. Well, you've got that kind of, what are vitamins?
Yeah, let's just kind of go back to basics about vitamins and minerals, because I think it's interesting. I think that that people will find it's interesting. Anyway, so vitamins are manufactured by plants. Okay. And but plants cannot manufacture minerals. Minerals come from the soil and water, so they absorb minerals through the soil and through water. We cannot manufacture vitamins and minerals. Therefore, we have to consume them.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that is something that our bodies cannot manufacture. But I love thinking about that plants manufacture it.
Right.
And then the minerals come from soil and water.
Well, also, and correct me if I'm wrong, well, I actually posed it as a form of question. Since plants, that is where it comes from. Pretty much everything comes from the earth. But once an animal takes that in, then we've got certain minerals and what have you in the meat that we eat. I guess
right,
I'd say.
From the animal, but it started
exactly. It started from the plant, right?
Right,
exactly,
right.
Exactly.
From the plants in the earth.
Right.
So and then there's so much information about all this. So we're going to stay just kind of in a small alley.
Sure.
Of it today.
We could be here all day. Yeah.
Right. So vitamins are going to be categorized into two things. You have fat soluble,
right,
and you have water soluble.
Sure. Okay.
And what that means, fat soluble vitamins dissolve in fat.
Right. Okay.
And then water soluble vitamins dissolve in water.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So oil and water,
sure.
but two different types of elements. So your fat-soluble vitamins are A, E, D, and K.
Okay. There'll be a test later.
Yeah. And because they're fat-soluble, they are stored in our fat tissue.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And K, real quick, excuse me for saying this, but K, most people don't know what K is. K being? Am I right? The K being potassium? Or not? No.
Oh, no. That's the table of the elements.
Okay, I'm sorry. All right, see,
you were throwing me. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, never mind. Then don't want to get you lost there. So.
Yeah, K stands for potassium. On the,
right.
on
we'll
the,
leave that mistake in there
to
show that we even make mistakes.
Elements. Yeah,
I even make mistakes.
Okay. All right. So AEDK. Okay. So water soluble vitamins are going to be your B vitamins and vitamin C.
Right. Okay.
And just as something interesting again that people may or may not know. B and C are the only two water-soluble vitamins.
Okay.
Thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, pantothenic acid, all that kind of stuff are all B vitamins.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. So really there's just two.
Okay.
So that I think that's really interesting. Anyway, so
everybody hears about the different B vitamins and they hear B12. I'm all the way up to 12 now, you know
right.
what I mean? So,
yeah, but they're all derivatives of B.
Right.
So anyway, so just to kind of talk about that. And so the question becomes, do I need a vitamin supplement?
Right.
Can I eat enough food to get all of my vitamins and minerals?
Yeah, and you've got a great answer for that. So I want to dive into that, and we'll hang on to that for just a second, though.
Yes.
Because I want to talk about it sort of go back to the information we were talking about a minute ago, but you were talking about fat soluble and water soluble. The water soluble. Am I correct in saying, I may be completely wrong about this, but am I correct in saying if you're taking a water soluble vitamin, you need to take that into account as far as your water intake? Also, is that right? As far as for lack of a better explanation, processing the vitamin. What
sure, absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Water is always a good thing. It's going to be dissolved by the fluid in your body. Absolutely. The thing to remember there is that because we have fat tissue in our body, the fat soluble vitamins can be stored.
Okay.
Water soluble vitamins are stored in small amounts, but it is something that we need to take in daily.
So it's basically processed and that's it. So,
yes. Yeah. And then, and this is what nobody likes to hear, but your water soluble vitamins, if you have too much in your system, then you excrete it in your urine because it is a water soluble vitamin, which is why we need to take it in every day.
Right.
But excess amounts of a water-soluble vitamin aren't just stored like the fat-soluble vitamins are. Right. So if you're taking in 5,000, micrograms of vitamin C every day, and your body only uses the RDA for that is like 75 to 90, and your body's maybe only use a couple of hundred, then that excess
is not being used.
It's not.
This is when we get to that argument, that statement that people say about buying expensive urine, doing those things.
Really expensive toilet.
Exactly. Yeah. Doesn't mean we're against the vitamins itself, but it's
it's a fact.
Absolutely.
It is a fact.
One last thing about the water soluble too. Sorry to hammer this home because I'm so big on water. You know that. Doesn't that leach some water when you're actually processing the vitamin or not? Is it just dissolved in water?
I think it just dissolves in water.
Just dissolves in water, so it doesn't actually leach water. Okay.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, before we dive into, because I know that everybody's wanting to hear about getting it from food and how does that all work, information from supplement companies.
Yeah. Okay. So supplements and Garrett and I we are not anti-supplement
by far.
No, please
we
don't.
Are far are we anti-supplement?
Yes, we are not. But what we are is we are pro information. And we want you to have information when you're deciding to take a supplement and facts.
Absolutely.
Okay. So we are not anti supplement. So please always remember that supplements are manufactured by companies and they are trying to sell the supplement to you. They are not nonprofits.
Absolutely.
They are out to make money. So please remember that. And with as friendly as they can be and with as great as their information can be, they are trying to sell you a product.
Absolutely. And you've heard me say this before. I'm not speaking for Tanya on this one. I've said many times before I'm a Christian first, but I'm a capitalist second. I can understand that, but it's not, you ought to be taking their information with a grain of salt.
Yeah. So in their quest to get you to buy their product and to take their product, given some of the information that we've already briefly talked about, but most of the time you can take half of what the supplement manufacturer recommends that you take.
Good rule of thumb.
And something to look at on the internet is to type into your search engine, ask it how the body stores whatever it is that you're trying to take, whether it's vitamin C, vitamin D, whatever. Ask it how long it lasts in the body.
Sure.
If your body's, I read somewhere that your liver can store enough vitamin C for several weeks.
Oh, wow. I had no idea.
Not much, because again, it's a water-soluble vitamin. But, well, then do I need to take
5,000 micrograms every day.
Every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So to me, if I'm going to take a vitamin supplement, is it necessary for me to take it daily?
Right. True.
Probably not.
Yeah.
A couple times a week. So anyway, these are just things to think about. But please keep in mind that a supplement manufacturer is going to tell you to take more than you probably need to take because they're trying to sell a product.
Well, also we talk about the expensive urine, and most people would hear that and go, okay, well, look, I'm going to cover my bases. I'm not going to worry about it because I'm going to excrete it. In the same breath, though, it's possible to take too many vitamins. I mean, I know one, for instance, is having low potassium is not good, but having too much potassium can be very damaging.
Yes, yes. And again, that is another great thing to look at when you're trying to research something is toxic levels.
Right.
What is it? Now, and granted, it's a little bit difficult. It's difficult for Americans because we have the availability of food.
Right.
But it's difficult for Americans to either have a vitamin deficiency, a true vitamin deficiency, really not seen very often.
Right.
And then toxicity levels. Usually, I mean, you're just probably looking at some GI problems and things like that.
Right.
But it can happen, and it is
Sure.
definitely something to research and to know about.
Be
What are
mindful of.
levels?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and how long is this stored in the body?
Right.
So yes, all that information is stuff that you need to take into account when you're looking at taking a supplement.
And just more is not always better.
No,
So,
it's not.
Definitely.
It's
definitely
not.
So.
It's not.
All right, getting into. But if I'm getting into what I know everybody's wanting to hear, and this is actually, I was looking forward to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and something to think about, you know, my husband's mother, and I love this, taught him to eat by color.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which I think is fascinating. But if you look at it, and again, this is one of those things you can get on the internet and research, you know, foods that are high in specific vitamins and minerals or whatever. But it's typically foods that are bright in color.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dark green.
Yeah.
Bright orange.
Right.
Red.
Right.
Okay.
I'm thinking yellow squash. I'm thinking the different varieties of peppers.
Right, right. But typically the brighter the color, the more vitamin and mineral content you're going to see.
Right.
A red bell pepper actually has more vitamin C than orange.
No idea.
I know.
That's amazing.
It's a crazy thing.
Amazing. So.
Right. Not downplaying the orange.
Yeah.
But because orange, again, that's a good, bright, vivid color.
Right.
But I just, and it doesn't mean that white foods are void of it.
Right.
But anyway, I always think that is an interesting concept. Look at your plate.
Exactly.
And if it's all brown.
Right.
Then it doesn't have as many vitamins and minerals as it could.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
And excuse me, one more thing before you dive into this, and kind of a setup for it, because the question that I get, and I'm sure you've gotten a lot of times, is one of two things as far as getting vitamins from food.
Mm-hmm.
And I have clients that will say, you know, I have to take a supplement because there's no way I could get it from food, all of it from food. And then I have other individuals that say, no, I don't take a vitamin, I don't take any supplements because I'm going to get it all from food. Mm-hmm. And this kind of answers both. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Before we hit this too, let me talk about something because I did think it was interesting is vitamin D. I know we talked about that had become very popular recently, and all of a sudden people are taking lots of vitamin D, maybe, and because it used to be everybody took vitamin C.
Right.
Anyway.
The pandemic caused that. A lot of people being inside, not
all
getting
of a sudden,
sunlight.
Yeah. But I read multiple articles, and something that is very true. And like me, I don't tend to leave the house without sunscreen on.
Right.
Sunscreen blocks vitamin D absorption from the sun.
Wow. Yeah.
And listen, like I said, yes, please wear sunscreen.
Yes.
But be aware that if you are somebody that wears a lot of sunscreen, that you are not getting the vitamin D from the sun. Yeah.
And this is all, you know, that's what's interesting about this. You were talking about all this comes, the vitamins are there. They come from the plants, come from the ground.
Right.
And then things like the sun provide vitamin D.
Yeah.
All this is really out there and provided for us.
Yes.
You know,
yes, it is.
Which is something that we
That's right.
always need to keep in mind.
That's right.
So
That's
definitely
right.
so.
That's
Great.
right. Okay, but so vitamin D, and again, it's a fat-soluble vitamin. It is stored by the body. But so people have gone to vitamin D supplements.
Right.
Okay? Again, not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Not a bad
true.
thing at all.
Absolutely.
It is, vitamin D, you can find it in food, but it's typically very small amounts.
Sure. Okay.
So really our major source for vitamin D is fortified foods
Right.
and the sun.
Okay.
Okay. So, but say let's say, okay, well, I've decided that I think I need a vitamin D supplement.
Right.
So then I start looking at supplements, and probably a good number is somewhere between 500 and 1,000 milligrams of vitamin D. Your supplements are going to have 5,000.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I've seen some even higher.
Yeah.
So again, more is not better.
Right.
And not necessarily something you would need every day.
Okay. Okay.
So it's not bad to take a vitamin D supplement, but
Right.
really pay attention to how much you're taking.
Exactly.
And again, because that is stored in the tissues.
Right.
That is stored in the fat tissues.
Right.
Okay. All right. Let's get to it. Are we ready?
Yeah. Go for it, please.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about some foods in a day that would enable you to get all the vitamins and minerals that you need.
Preface this with the fact that we're not telling anybody, okay, everybody switch to this diet, quote unquote.
No.
Just trying to give an idea that can you get them from foods? Yeah. And here's an idea. Here's a one way that you could.
Right. And if a lot of these foods are not on the list of foods that you eat, then that would be an area that you could look into changing.
Right.
Okay, I need to incorporate those foods into my life.
Sure.
Okay, so for breakfast, oatmeal topped with some berries.
Sure.
Orange juice or an orange. Or whole grain toast with an avocado.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Lunch. Nice big salad to get your greens in.
Sure.
Now, when we talk about salad greens, the darker,
Right.
same rule of thumb, the more vitamins and minerals it's going to have. Iceberg lettuce versus spinach.
Right,
You've got a
exactly.
much lighter color green versus a much darker color of green.
Right.
Kale, that's kind of the powerhouse.
Exactly.
So anyway, so a salad with some mixed greens, tomatoes, carrots, bell peppers.
Right.
Throw everything in it. Quinoa.
Oh, wow.
That may or may not be a new word for y'all. It is a grain, and it is actually a complete protein.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow.
So,
which, by the way, as we're talking about this, we've talked about protein before. And the need
Yes.
for protein. For these meals definitely need protein in them always.
Yeah.
But this is strictly addressing vitamins and what have you. I did not, I think I'd heard that about quinoa. I wasn't positive about that one.
quinoa. It's a grain. You boil it in water. I think it's like I don't remember if it's 1-to-1 or 1-to-2 ratio. Like 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. Very simple.
Right.
But anyway, throw some of that on your salad,
Sure.
some grilled chicken. And then as a dressing, one of my favorite dressings is equal parts lemon juice and olive oil. And then you just salt and pepper it.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Fantastic.
So super easy to make. All right. So dinner, our salmon to get our, omega-3s in.
Fantastic protein source. Great omega-3s.
Yes, yes. And it's got some vitamin D in it.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, there you go. So some broccoli, brown rice, sweet potato.
Perfect.
Okay. Now, again, notice the colors that I've talked about with these foods. Okay, snacks.
Oh, great.
All right, let's throw some snacks in
Wonderful.
there. Okay? An apple with a little bit of almond butter.
Oh, perfect.
All right.
That was believe it or not, that was the Girl Scout salad that my mother used to make as a Girl Scout. Believe it or not, was actually peanut butter, but also almond butter with on half an apple. Yeah.
All right. Mixed nuts, and again, we're talking about a handful, because nuts can be a calorie dense
exactly
thing, or let's say carrots and hummus.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And again, chickpeas are a good source of protein.
Oh, fantastic.
So you got a little protein there. A good snack at night is an ounce of dark chocolate.
Oh, well, love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. See, there we go.
Yeah.
Now, if we can work coffee in this whole thing, I think we might have it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dark chocolate's got magnesium, good source of antioxidants.
Great.
So again, just listening to the foods that I've talked about: oatmeal with berries,
Right.
Greek yogurt with berries, an orange, whole grain toast with avocado.
Right.
Okay, breakfast ideas. That salad, again, don't just do lettuce. Put your tomatoes, your cucumbers, your bell peppers.
Peppers, you got an array of stuff that you can do on a salad.
Sunflower seeds.
Oh, fantastic.
I love
yeah,
sunflower or pumpkin seeds on a
great,
salad.
Great.
The quinoa, and then adding grilled chicken for some protein.
Sure.
Nuts, hummus. And I've said this before in our other podcast, you got to get a list and you got to get to the grocery store. If you get a list and get to the grocery store,
right,
then half of the battle is over. And a plan is always good. I know last week I decided that I was going to have quinoa tabbouleh.
Okay.
And so I made it on Monday and ate it every day for lunch.
Oh, wow.
And it was fabulous.
Great.
But but I had the plan.
Yeah, exactly.
So a big part of eating healthy is having a plan.
And that's what we talk about that in Catalyst all the time, is the fact that too many of us get off of our nutritional goals, whether it's maintaining weight, losing weight, or even getting stronger, gaining weight, whatever. We do that because we allow food to happen to us instead of thinking about it. There's very little that we don't plan.
Yes.
And you plan your day. You plan to drop your kids off at school at a certain time, which means you need to get up at this time. You plan everything, and so planning your food is so important there.
Yes.
And a huge part of it. At the same time, we want to reiterate what you said earlier, that we're not against supplements.
No, not at all.
No. And
not at all.
Can you do a minute or so on that? Because I get the question all the time about the multivitamin, and I think this goes back to what you were saying about how often or whatever. But just kind of a little bit of information on that, as far as if you're not able to get it all, you feel like you're not able to get it all.
Yeah, and again, some people are good with a multivitamin, and that is just what it says.
Right.
It is going to be a supplement that contains multiple vitamins and minerals.
Right.
Some people want to take individual, like I want to take a vitamin C and a vitamin D and a magnesium or
and
an
that may
iron.
Be because of,
right.
That may be because of, I've heard several TikToks, and the latest one is omega-3 fatty acids. So I've got to be taking that as a supplement.
Okay.
So,
all right. Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
So my advice to you is, first and foremost, look for food sources.
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. Second of all, when you incorporate those food sources, look at your supplement. Look how much it has in it.
Absolutely.
Of whatever it is that you're trying to take.
Right.
And then use what you've learned from information that you've gathered and decide, okay, do I need a 5,000 milligram supplement or do I need a 1,000?
Right.
And then decide, do I need to take it every day?
Right.
Or is this something I can take a couple of days a week?
Especially the way it's stored.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes. So again, and some women need an iron supplement.
Right.
And again, I would look at, how much supplements got in it.
Yeah, true.
That's the biggest thing.
Well, also in starting from somewhere, and I would like to ask you this about, okay, I want to know, what is my RDA? What should I be taking? Mm-hmm. Where's a good place to get that? Mm-hmm. That I'm sure that we can get a list. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And again, there's all kinds. I
would guess the ADA would probably have it. So
yes, absolutely. And the government websites have got really good, and theirs are pretty simple.
Right.
Which I always think is good. I've got one of them in front of me that I found on Harvard.edu.
Okay.
That's a good list. But yeah, it's very simple to find, and they're usually split men and women. And you can find, but let's just look at vitamin C. It's going to be somewhere around. I'm on the wrong page. Yeah, there we go. 75 to 90 milligrams a day.
Oh wow.
You can actually get that from an orange.
Okay.
One orange.
Right. Wow.
Or half of a red bell pepper.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah. So if vitamin C is a concern for you, start with eating an orange.
And I love that approach. And also, like we were saying, start with what do you need, and actually, once you review that, like you said, you may find out, oh wow, I had no idea it was that easy to get it from food.
Yes.
And then that's a good way to find out, where's my weakness? What am I missing? What is not going to happen? And I think that's the best way to kind of run about that.
Yes. Yes, it can all come from food.
Right.
It does take a little bit of planning.
Sure.
And then, and we all know this. We all know this from years of not being informed and not eating great.
Right.
But it's still not going to throw us into a deficiency.
Exactly.
It's just not.
No, not with the food sources we have available to us and how we're eating in this country. That's for sure. So,
right.
Well, we could, again, this has been a long podcast, I know, but there's a lot of information here, and it's a big subject.
Yeah.
So, but if you have any more questions, don't think twice about giving us a call. Especially if you have anything we didn't cover in this one that you're looking for, give us a call at 251-278-3343. It's 251-278-EDGE. Reach out to me at Garrett at personaledgefitness.com. That's our website also. Facebook page, Personal Edge Fitness. X at Team PE, and be glad to throw some questions in that you like Tanya to address the next time she was on the show. You brought this one. I really appreciate it. Awesome subject to cover.
Yes.
And I'm sure it'll generate a lot of questions. Thank you for being on, and can't wait to get you back on. I can't wait for the next subject. And listen, stay tuned. We've got a lot more coming as far as nutrition advice is concerned. It's just one more way we help you reach your level of wellness. Thank you so much for joining me today. We'll see you next time.